Hello everybody, it's Girl Got Game and welcome to another Gander video. Today I am checking out the demo for a game called Keyframes by Blank House. Now, this was brought to my attention first by Kara, who very generously donated to my coffee and was like, I would love for you to do a let's play of this game. And I checked it out afterwards and I was like, oh, they're gonna have a Kickstarter soon, so I'll wait till the Kickstarter starts. And then Asia posted on my Discord that the Kickstarter had begun. I'm like, the time has arrived! So I am very excited to check out Keyframes. Let me tell you a bit of the story. So, between exams, friendships, and figuring out what a savings account is, college might just be one of the busiest times of your life. No one said adulthood was going to be easy, but it'll be a little less painful to navigate with your two best friends by your side. And 3 new chance acquaintances who happen to be the right people at the right time. Welcome to Wryn, Mayor. Bumble headfirst into the last 2 weeks of your second spring semester. With an ensemble cast of 5, you'll find yourself in silly situations, entertaining impulse decisions and forging new friendships, or maybe even romance. So, the plan for this game is for it to be divided into 9 seasons. So currently, the spring season is out, and they're having a Kickstarter to fund the summer season, which I believe they've reached their goal for that. And I think their last stretch goal is actually to fund fall as well. So keep that in mind. But yeah, let's hop into spring and see what we can see here. It's so pretty already. Time to take a quiz! A personality quiz. And no, you're not allowed to skip this. That's okay, I love personality quizzes. I haven't done that in a hot minute. We're giving you a series of statements for you to answer truthfully. Or not. We're not the boss of you. You're not the boss of me. So let's start. First question. Be honest, are you the type of person that likes taking risks? Like is such a strong word. I don't like to take risks, but I will take risks. But I don't like to. So I'll go with no. When you make plans with people, what do you prefer? Familiarity. You like knowing what you're getting into. Spontaneity. What makes for a better story? A little of both. I prefer familiarity. What's your favorite time of day? Night. Don't even have to think about that one. Someone's approaching you with a clipboard. What do you do? Pretend I didn't see them and keep walking. Stop and listen. They've probably been ignored all day. I'm already clear across campus just to avoid them. I'm hoping they're going to talk to someone behind me. I mean, honestly, I am the type of person, very sad, that will keep walking. Sometimes, if they've made eye contact, I will smile and I will stop and listen, but I always hope that they will ignore me, so. Do you usually stay calm under pressure? What's that? What? People tell me I appear calm under pressure. Although, in the moment, I do tend to like just shut down and deal with things, and then later on, it hits me and I'm like, what was that? So, maybe it would be more honest to say I do stay calm under pressure. Sure. I'll say yes. Your favorite plush toy fell off the bed while you were sleeping. How do you react? Oh, no, I had many plushies on my bed. You apologize and promise to never let that happen again. You pick them up and tuck them snugly back into bed. C'est la vie. You remember to pick them up later, hopefully. Yeah, it's somewhere between this one and this one. Pick them up, tuck them snugly back into bed. Yay! You got invited to a party. Problem is, you don't really know anyone there. A party? How convenient! I've suddenly come down with a cold. I don't know anyone. do find parties fun, but if I'm just by myself, I'd probably go for a little bit to be polite and then leave. Unless I was having, like, really a lot of fun and I happen to meet some new people. But in general. Uh-oh, you forgot to write your paper and it's due tomorrow morning. There's no hope. May the failing grade be merciful. Email the teacher and ask for an extension. If I just don't sleep tonight, maybe I can make it. Panic, cry, pray, and then just write for my life. Yeah, probably the all-nighter. Do you often procrastinate until the last minute, even if it's important? Yes, but they shouldn't put the deadline that far if it's important. Yes. Calculating results. Your winter. Ooh, I've got a frigid personality. Fun. Okay, so the personality is based on seasons as well. That's cool. These personalities are often characterized as the coolest people around, never the type to be ruffled or influenced. Winters are calm but straightforward observers. Though they might be quiet, don't mistake that for positivity. They're observing and won't hesitate to call people out, even at the risk of hurt feelings. As a winter type, some of your actions and responses are already predetermined, but don't worry, you will still be able to influence your character throughout the game based on the choices you make. Now let's double check some info. Ooh. We can change our name. Let's do Molly Wave Rider. Let her ride again. If I can click. There we go. Yay. Department of Humanities. Oh, the humanity of it all. And there's a little snowflake. We are the snowflake student. Choose your pronouns. She, her. Confirm. At some points in this game, members of the cast may behave differently depending on factors related to your orientation and presentation. Please select all that applies in respect to how you'd prefer your character to be perceived. Feminine characters who are shy around women might be shy around my character, or masculine characters who are shy around men might be shy around my character. That's cool. I prefer my character to not be perceived based on either options. I'll do feminine. Choose a font you want your MC to use. We won the barbecue. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that one. During some action-packed occasions, Keyframes implements QTEs to help direct the narrative. Test each mode and choose what is comfortable for you. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, give me 3. Okay, that's not bad. Getting letter flashbacks. I don't know if that should be worrying. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yes. Don't panic. Your phone rested you from your dream, and you woke to the scratch of your sheets and the whir of the AC unit. Much as you wanted to ignore it, you slithered a hand out of the blankets and grabbed your phone. There wasn't any point in delaying the inevitable. Cam was here, lol. Yeah, who is this?
Ah, my bud, my pal.
Oh, we got a little bit of voice acting. What do you want, Cameron?
What time is it?
And you couldn't find this out yourself because...
On my photo cards, I vow that there is a reason, so please check the time.
You opened your bleary eyes. In the wash of warm light filtering through the curtains, you recognize the late morning hour stretching across the floor. Our bedroom is really cute. It had to be well into the day now, and you squinted at your phone for confirmation. 12 p.m. Yep, that seems accurate. Also, I love this little sheep. Adorable. It's 12. Happy?
Yes, but I'll be happier if you get your lazy ass out of bed.
Rude. That's a lot to ask of me right now.
Well, I tried.
Dude, you're too nice. Let me. Hey, you gotta wake up. You'd better not have forgotten.
Forgotten what?
Today's Raina's barbecue party, remember? Cam and I finished buying the snacks and stuff. We're also like 15 minutes from campus. So, if you still want to ride, you should get up. Like, right now.
Get ready in 15 minutes? Barf. Shit.
And there's the reaction we're looking for.
Thank God. It finally sunk in.
I'll be there.
You'd better. Oh, it is so satisfying to get one over on you.
Yeah. See you guys when I see you. The call dropped and you sprang into action, sprinting across the sun-warmed floor to get ready. Ooh, pretty. The spring semester. You stepped out of your apartment building, bracing for a blast of heat. As the semester was drawing towards its close, temperatures had risen in a way that left you lingering in the chilled indoors. But thankfully today was a perfect spring day, one of the last ones you'd get before summer crept in. There was just one thing in your way, or, well, many things. Many people. At this time of day, Wryn Mayor University was as lively as ever. Students moved in and out of lecture halls, and they were clustered everywhere with their eyes on their books, their friends, or their phones. If you hadn't been so hell-bent on finishing your assignments for the week last night, you would have been awake in time for a peaceful morning, and you'd be able to simply walk alongside the crowds, calm as anything. However, you wanted to be prepared, so that meant keeping up with whatever your professors gave you. You'd needed to get everything done just so you could go a few days without thinking about schoolwork. All your work from the last 2 weeks had piled up right until the last minute. I was a very good student, so that one. And with finals right around the corner, it didn't hurt to reinforce what you'd learned during the semester. And thus, here you were. You set your mouth in a grim line and forged onward. By some minor miracle, the crowd didn't actually impede you that much. You weren't really expecting this kind of treatment, but halfway through your jog, you realized that most of the students in your way were moving of their own accord. Okay. If you had the time, you might have stopped to wonder why, but you didn't, and so you kept your eyes forward and your feet moving.
Oh, shit.
Hi. Ah well, your luck had to run out at some point. You dodged the front of a black and pink electric scooter as the student atop it braked, their foot planting on the ground for extra friction. They were already opening their mouth to apologize.
You good? Sorry, that's my bad. I didn't see you there.
It's alright. There was no harm done. So, please, excuse me.
Sure. Yeah.
This brief interaction should have concluded then. However, as you took a step to the right, they pushed off slightly, their scooter inching forward and back into your way.
Oh, that's...
Unconcerned by this coincidence, you smoothly shifted to the left, only to be blocked a second time as they tried to turn. And then when you stepped diagonally backward, they inched forward, mirroring you perfectly. You flicked your eyes up, honing in on the surprised arch to their brows. Do you mind?
I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. I think we're just... connecting.
Is that what you call it? Sure. Now, if you'll let me...
No, I'm serious. Let's test this. What number am I thinking of?
You had some time to spare, so you decided to indulge them. This was a waste of your time, and you didn't care to spend any more of it here. Well, if they were asking for it, you'd give them the most convoluted answer you could think of. I mean, I probably would go along with it. I'd be curious. I don't know, 3?
You're fucking with me. I was also thinking 3.
Were you, though, or are you just telling me you were? They threw up their hands with an overblown sigh, and you couldn't help but snicker a little at their dramatics.
You see what I mean? I didn't even give you a range, and we still came up with the same numbers. Some might say this is a sign we're soulmates.
Would they? And what would others say?
That I'm getting real good at close-up magic.
It might have been the worst bout of a walkway sidestep that you'd had since you started going here, but at least it was with someone who was having fun with it. Right! So, this was fun, but I've got to go. For real this time.
Oh, well, I suppose I'll wait for the stars to bring us back together or something.
Okay. This time it was the stranger who moved aside first, and you followed with a soft chuckle. It wouldn't do to block foot traffic, or worse, trap someone else in this inexplicable tango. You're really holding on to this destiny thing.
When the universe tells me to pay attention, I listen.
Mm-hmm. And what have you learned so far, exactly?
Nothing yet. Hoping to change that if I annoy you enough.
You must have a lot of free time.
I'm actually running late for a meetup with some friends.
I'm not surprised. You look like the kind of person to waste someone's time.
Only if I think it'll be worth it.
Lucky me. At the touch of sarcasm in your tone, they chuckled behind a curled fist.
Let's not pretend like you don't have somewhere to be either.
Correct. How about we go our separate ways here, then?
Are you kidding me? We can't just leave after that.
This is a scene straight out of a movie. One of us is supposed to fall head over heels for the other, you know.
Really now?
Yup. Movie law dictates it. I mean, 50,000 students on campus and you bumped into me? We can't ignore that.
Tell you what, though. You can decide who falls for who. I'm a romantic, so I can play whichever part.
They really like to lay it on thick. It was starting to bother you. No, not at all. I love this kind of person. What a riot. They knew just how to clap back every time. You didn't doubt that. They'd been super forward from the jump. They were being quite cute, cheesiness and all. Honestly, you weren't sure how to respond. I'm torn between the riot and they were being quite cute. Yeah, we'll do this one. Obviously, they were hamming things up as hard as they could, but you didn't really find it in yourself to mind. All you could really think about was how sweet their smile was. You got yourself smiling and crossed your arms, arriving smoothly at an answer before they could catch on. What do you want me to play instead? You can play the one who fell first. What if this is more of a soulmates chasing each other through multiple lives thing? Ooh, good call. You mean you don't remember me? We've been together for years. You'd pretend to fall in love with me? That's sweet. Okay, then you play the one who fell later but harder. And this is where I walk away having charmed the pants off you. I am quite a fan of this one, actually. What if this is more of a soulmates chasing each other through multiple lives thing?
Well, would you still love me if I was a van?
A what?
I mean, in other lives I might not be as dashingly handsome. Or even a person.
There was a breezy confidence in the way they answered you, and the easy lilt to their voice told you they were more than used to this kind of tomfoolery. It was tempting to stick around just to see what they'd come up with next. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Don't run into anyone else, okay?
Am I allowed to take that as you wanting me for yourself?
You didn't reply, but you didn't need to. The way your lips pressed together in an attempt to hide your amusement was telling enough. You knew they'd seen it, since their mouth was quirked into something between a smirk and a smile, into something that, for all their wit, was mellow and indulgent.
I'll see you around.
Okay. They lifted a hand, throwing you a two-fingered salute as you stepped past. You nodded back, the motion perfunctory as you gradually picked up the pace. And we don't even know each other's names. Perfect. I like them, though. You'd lost valuable time, and so you dared to break into a jog as soon as you had a straight shot across the green. This time, thankfully, there were no collisions to be had. You slowed to walk off the light stitch in your chest, slipping by a group of students going in the opposite direction.
Man, whoever that was over there, they are really passionate about that song.
Tell me about it. As you headed between the rows of parked cars, an electronic beat filled the air. The source, a van with the front windows rolled down as its occupants rocked out to a song from a decade ago. Hi, Cameron. Side to side, side to side. Cameron sat in the driver's seat, two-toned hair flying wildly as they banged out a beat on the car door. They were one of your best friends, as well as a year above you in the same major. More importantly, they were a self-professed champion of car karaoke. When it came to immersing oneself in song, passion was the name of the game. And for Cam, that meant there was no need to worry about hitting the right notes. 'Cause baby tonight, hey! The speakers went abruptly quiet right as they reached the high note. With a devastated gasp, Cam jerked around to face the passenger seat, where your roommate Pigeon laughed with delicate glee. I think it's Deja is the way you pronounce this name? I hope I'm saying that right. Deja was the third member of your unforgettable trio, an incorrigible tease, always looking for an opportunity to poke fun. She'd obviously been waiting for the right moment to turn the volume down. You guys are being a public disturbance. You cupped a hand by your mouth and called out dryly, raising an eyebrow as they both leaned to wave at you.
Oh, and look who finally showed up. You're cutting it close, Wave Rider. One more minute and we would have left you. Aw, give her a break. I'm sure it sucked getting woken up so early in the morning.
Laugh it up.
Trust me, we are.
Cameron's over-the-top giggle drew a reluctant curl to your mouth, and you crossed over to the car with a shake of your head.
Anyway, get in, loser.
You rounded the passenger side and tugged at the door handle, only to find it locked.
Is something wrong?
Ah, so now it was your turn to be played with. Real mature, roomie.
Oh, good! For a second I thought I was being immature.
Rolling your eyes, you rapped on the window for Cameron's attention. Cam, unlock the door. As requested, the lock flipped up a second later and clicked right back down. Deja's grin widened and she propped her chin innocently on one hand. This is childish of you.
I'm embracing the days of my youth.
You'd known Deja for almost 2 years now. She'd dragged this joke on as long as she could unless you did something about it. I mean, this would be what I would do. I'm like, if the window's open, just unlock it yourself. Deja lurched back with a stifled curse, dodging your first flailing attempts.
You stop that!
Stop what? What am I doing, Deja? You jammed your arm through the window even more, but you only barely brushed against the button before Deja slapped your hand aside. What? You reeled back, aghast, and Deja stared back at you, coolly defiant. You knew she was about to escalate. The only thing stopping her was the effort it took to keep from smiling, and you'd have to press that advantage if you wanted a chance. Now you've done it! Without further ado, the two of you descended into a full-on slap fight, swatting ineffectually at each other in a battle for the unlock button. Was it childish? Yes. Would either of you stop? No, at least not until...
Okay, truce! Truce! I'm gonna scratch you if we keep this up. Or worse, break a nail.
Your priorities suck. The lock clicked and the side door slid open with a beep to let you in. Finally.
I'm liking the moxie, Molly. What about my moxie? You've always got moxie. What matters is when Molly makes you show it.
Oh my goodness, the frog pillows are so cute! Look at all the frogs! I love it. You scrambled into a seat in the middle row, noting the rueful smile that Deja wasn't quite managing to hide. Sure, she'd inconvenienced you, but it had been in the name of fun. You didn't mind a little tomfoolery at your expense. Sometimes being the subject of Deja's teasing meant you got to enjoy her attention for just that much longer.
Camcorder to Ice Queen. I repeat, camcorder to Ice Queen. The package was received safely. Now awaiting new orders, over. We proceed as planned. Onwards, to Raina! To Raina!
You all clicked your seatbelts in, and camera shifted the car into reverse. Twisting in their seat, they gave a quick, peppy salute before settling one hand on the back of Deja's headrest. They maneuvered out of their parking spot with a practiced turn of the wheel, looking backward all the while. It was inevitable you'd make eye contact, and when you did, they winked.
I know. I'm the coolest, aren't I?
On most people, this kind of ego-boosting question would come off as arrogant. On Cameron, it came off as an intentional joke, a way to keep the energy light. You and Deja had the rare privilege of seeing Cameron at their silliest, and they made sure you knew it. I don't know why you keep doing that when you have a perfectly good backup camera. Cool. Nah, I think it's hot when you do that. Ayy. Cam, if you have to ask, then you're not being cool. This would be my legit reaction.
Truly cool people don't need validation from others.
Yeah, take it from Deja, the coolest person we know.
Can you guys just indulge me? One time? Well, if you have to ask.
Cameron groaned with mock frustration, though a smile still tugged at the corners of their mouth.
Fine, whatever. I get it. I'm too hot to be cool.
Hey, she made the joke herself. The gear shift clunked, and the car pulled smoothly out onto the main road. A cool breeze fluttered through the front windows, and campus buildings rolled by in silhouettes of glass, stone, and brick. Wryn Mayor was an easy first pick for many students. While not overly prestigious, it was a beautiful school set near a cozy town, couched in hazy blue mountains and forests of deep green. The academics here were no joke either. It had been competitive enough that you'd still felt more than lucky to be admitted into the pre-law track to boot. Wow. Sure, prettiest and coolest campus I'd ever seen. The brochures had done their best to capture everything, but nothing had beaten experiencing it in person. Your first month here had been a giddy one, full of exploration and maybe a little frolicking. Campus was, to quote Deja when you'd met, picturesque as fucked. Nice. And to quote Cameron next, sick as fuck. Thanks to the mountains, there was an observatory on one side of campus and a ski slope on the other. Cool. The locals enjoyed them just as much as the students did. Fairfield was a small place, but that didn't mean it was boring. Cameron slowed for a speed bump, and you heard the rustle of nylon bags in the trunk. How did shopping go? Deja tipped her head back for a laugh, more of a sharp exhale, really. It was easy to miss these mini laughs of hers if you didn't know what to listen for.
Should I tell her, or will you?
Why? What did you do, Cam?
Why do you assume it's me who did something? Remember, in the court of law, everyone is presumed innocent before they are... You're not on trial. But if you were, we'd present to the court a picture of a certain pyramid of paper towels, knocked all over the floor. We had a defective wheel and the cart wouldn't steer straight.
Cam, remember, we volunteer nothing. Stay quiet. And we're sure that was the cart's fault.
Do you see me driving right now? I'm a model operator of heavy machinery. So if that cart wasn't working, that's not on me. Even if you were pushing it really, really fast. Until they check their security cameras, nobody has proof I did that. Honestly, it's not like anything actually broke. The employee said it was fine, but Cam's convinced they can't ever go back to Dickinson's again.
Buck up. Aw, no, but the macadamia nuts there are Deja's favorite.
Roll up to the Dick and Son for some nuts! Ayy! It's always in one ear and out the other for you.
Cameron snickered, and as they flicked the turn signal on, Deja tilted her head to look back at you. You kept a straight face, meeting her with a deadpan stare. The two of you were remarkably alike, and that made for some encounters that to others could look tense or uncomfortable.
How was your morning, Molly?
Cheeky as always. You declined to bristle, even as she simpered. Naturally, you hadn't been set up for success today. Your room had been a mess, you'd woken up late, you'd had to run across campus, and you'd gotten held up by that stranger. There was a lot to say about your morning from that alone, but did you want to tell your friends? Hey, why not tell them about that, actually? Well, I ran into someone on the way over.
From where?
No, I mean, like, I ran into someone. I didn't know them.
You crashed, Ran?
Almost. It could have been worse, but still.
LMAO? What happened?
They braked their scooter right in front of me, and every time I tried to get around them, they'd move in the same direction as me.
A classic stalemate. Like, on accident? That must have felt weird.
Then they turned it into a whole rom-com thing. Really big on the sappy jokes, you know?
Uh-huh.
What's that for?
What? What'd I say?
You get those smug smiles off your faces. You leaned forward to drum your hands petulantly on their seats, and Deja laughed, unlocking her phone as she leaned away. These are good friends. If they don't tease you immediately upon learning that information, then it ain't real.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, did you get a name?
Cameron wiggled their eyebrows enticingly in the rearview mirror, and you scoffed. Your friends weren't the biggest gossips, but they could still be quite nosy in their own right. Cam's curiosity was born of genuine interest, wanting to know for knowing's sake, but Deja wanted to appraise. At the very least, she'd make it heard whether she thought someone was bad news. She had a good radar for bullshit, no matter the context. Crappy sales deals disintegrated under her discerning eye, and anyone with ill intent could look forward to the same. Alas, no, I didn't.
What? Boo! Yeah, how's Deja going to do any internet stealthing now? We just have to run into them again?
In the intervening lull, you mulled over that stranger one last time. I'm a sharer about these kinds of things, so yeah. Yeah, there'd been little to no chance you would keep a story like that from your friends. It was all par for the course. Well, thanks for picking me up anyway.
Of course! We can't miss out today. It's so much free shit. Hey, don't forget we've got work to do first. We will. If I have a lot of Tupperware in the back, that is a coincidence, I assure you.
Some of that Tupperware is mine, right?
Even if it's not, you can borrow whatever.
You popped a quick thumbs up and Cameron gave you one to match. The rest of the ride was a tangle of light-hearted conversations. Deja and Cam were common fixtures in your life, but you rarely ran out of things to talk about. It was never silent, at least. Deja had the aux, and she'd put one of her playlists on as soon as you'd left campus. Gradually, the trees on either side of the road thinned, and the car entered a classy residential area with quaint homes separated by large lawns and extensive driveways.
Is it this one? Yup, just pull in behind that car.
Cameron pulled over, fitting the van into an empty spot. From the number of other vehicles already there, you were probably among the last of the helpers to arrive. Hopefully, Raina wouldn't mind. Peering out the window again, you were struck by the suburban mood that blanketed the entire area. Man, who's getting housing out here? This is way fancier than what's on campus.
Huh? Oh, no, this isn't for students.
But Raina lives here.
She sure does.
Deja flicked her wrist impassively, speaking with the bluntness of someone who'd seen this view one too many times.
It's a legit neighborhood. Some of our professors live here, the tenured ones. Cam, I'm pretty sure your first-year seminar professor is her neighbor. No, Mrs. Gregory? Yup. Apparently she swings by with muffins. Man, we didn't call her a G for nothing. I love you, Mrs. G!
Cameron hollered after sticking their head through the window, fist thumping on their chest to express their admiration. Deja snorted.
So close! It's the one on the other side? Well, whoever lives on this side, I also love them. Anyway, let's get going. Wait 1 second.
The locks clicked shut, and the window on Deja's side whirred as she rolled it back up. I'm not up for a round 2 of this.
Then it's a good thing this isn't that. I said this was a party that Reyna was hosting, right? And I was co-hosting.
Yup, I remember since it was so weird hearing that.
What? Weird how? You don't really do parties, Dee. Not unless it's our birthdays or something.
Mm-hmm. And we're here early to help set up. That means...
It's an SGP party. Case closed, Detective Wave Rider.
Case closed, indeed. Excellent work, Detective Molinaris. Deja pouted a little, and the two of you turned away to giggle. Your roommate was vice president of the Student Government Board, SGB, which organized events and initiatives all over campus. It hadn't exactly been rocket science to guess the real nature of today's party. It was even easier when one considered that Reyna was SGB president, though that did bring up one inconsistency. If it's SG business, why not put that in the name? Why is it just a barbecue today?
Because it's a test run. We'd like to run this on a bigger scale next year, so we're running a smaller trial first. That's why it's at Reyna's place. The other SG people know, and now you do too. But none of the other guests really do. Okay. Is that it? Nope, there's something bigger.
She held one hand out to each of you, palm up. I don't mind physical touches at all. You know.
Humor me just one time. Ow!
I did actually... Okay, I can't go back. I was like, I did pick the one that's like, it doesn't bother me, right? Cameron's hand landed on Deja's with a loud smack, and while your roommate flinched, you dropped your hand lightly into her waiting palm. Well, if I must. While you were at it, you and Cam linked your free hands as well, completing the triangle and leaning in to listen. It's the triangle of silence. There was a pause as Deja's gaze glided from you to Cameron and back. The anticipation built as she gathered her words.
The barbecue has a game at the end. A scavenger hunt. I'm asking the both of you, from the depths of my heart, to take it seriously.
Scavenger hunt? Deja, you know I treat those with extreme seriousness.
I know you do, but I'm asking for you to go beyond that. Beyond the usual. What's up with this game, Dee? The scavenger hunt, my friends, has a prize of $500.
Suddenly, the car was deathly silent.
Let me repeat that. $500 fucking dollars!
Cameron's tongue darted out to swipe at their dried lips.
Deja, if you're screwing with us, I'm dead ass. This is real. We, along with the rest of the guests, are playing for keeps. And there is, I shit you not, a fat stack of cash waiting in Reyna's room as we speak. If there is ever a moment to take my words at face value, it is now. Okay? I'm not kidding.
That cemented it for Cameron.
Holy shit!
So excited. The car rocked on its axles as they leaped up on their seat, thumping their hands wildly on the steering wheel as they screamed. Even Deja joined in on the chaos, her heels driving into the carpet of Cameron's car in a series of gleeful thumps. The jewelry adorning her body jingled with the movement as she too began yelling. I'm just gonna sit here. Woo! It was uncharacteristic for you to bust out your vocal cords for anything, let alone for something as hectic as a scavenger hunt. But money was money, and you were fucking here for it. Your voice joined the mix, and you even danced a little in your seat at Cameron's behest.
Okay, wait.
Cameron came down from their initial shock to seize Deja by the forearms. Your roommate grabbed them back, the white of her manicured nails standing out against the gray of their hoodie. Game plan, what is it? You have to have one, right? Like, we're winning the thing, no question.
Definitely. I already know where everything is. Otherwise, there's no point bringing this up.
But if you know, then aren't... How can you play... What? Wait, are we cheating? me and Molly in game are both like, hold on a second. Deja grinned at you without hesitation, mischief sparking to life in her eyes.
Some people call it cheating. I call it a utilization of prior knowledge given my role as party coordinator.
That's just a long-winded way of saying we're cheating.
If Reyna didn't want me to cheat, then she wouldn't have asked me to help hide the items. Besides, just because we would know where everything is doesn't guarantee we'll win. We still have to get to everything first if we're going to grab what we need.
Peer pressure, but also it's not right. Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm torn. Like, I want to win, but also it just doesn't feel right somehow. There was a moral conundrum at play here. To cheat or not to cheat, and the angel on your shoulder begged for you to object. However, the little demon perched opposite whispered otherwise. Your inability to take a stance must have reflected on your face. The excitement on your friends' faces washed away, leaving behind a faint but genuine concern.
Hey.
You met her gaze, which was now soft and warm.
We don't have to. It was just a thought.
Yeah, it's not like we need to cheat to win. That cash is ours no matter what.
I suppose as long as we're playing honestly, we should...
You know what? I appreciate that. I don't think I've ever... I could probably count on like one hand the amount of times I felt uncomfortable with the situation and had friends pick up on it and be like, hey, you know what? It's okay. We don't have to do this crazy thing if it makes you uncomfortable. Instead of just like, oh, come on, don't be a sissy. And then I'd give in anyway. So I appreciate you, Cam and Deja. There was a sudden tap on the window and Cameron let out an ear-splitting scream. Deja screeched in turn, flinging herself backward against the locked door. You dodged her flailing arm as she tried to sock Cameron in the shoulder, ducking back into the middle row of seats.
Christ, Cameron! Ow, sorry!
You'd better not be doing what I think you're doing, Deja.
Damn it, Reyna. I almost pissed my pants.
Reyna peered through the passenger side window, her curled fingers shading her narrowed eyes. With her back to the glass, Deja looked sulkily to one side, stalling as long as she could before she'd have to make eye contact.
Why does she look so scary staring in like that?
Ah, hello, Reyna. Deja shook her head without answering as she swiveled back around in her seat. Rolling down the window, she fixed Reyna with a flat stare.
Not that I'm admitting it, but we weren't doing anything.
Oh, but you were thinking of it.
Mm-hmm. Past tense.
A likely story.
Even if I tell the truth, she won't believe me.
I can't blame her. This is you we're talking about.
Like you weren't on board with the idea.
I was against it. At the accusation, Cameron only looked away, whistling a random tune.
Whatever. If it helps Reyna, my lovely roommate's got too good of a conscience to let us do anything.
Hello, I'm the roommate. I don't like underhanded means. Reyna examined each of your expressions in turn before relenting with a sigh. Her shoulders slumped as she relaxed and she mumbled under her breath.
Fine, I believe you. Or I believe your roommate.
Thank you.
I'm hurt.
Reyna scoffed before finally stepping away from the window.
Okay, come on out. You guys aren't just here to have fun after all.
Doors opened and shut and you lined up next to each other by the van. Reyna paced slowly back and forth, her fingers tented in front of her as she eyed you up and down.
What's the status so far?
Ooh! Look at all these cuties. Adorable.
For starters, we've been waiting for the stuff you're buying, so hopefully you've got everything on the list.
At a heavy price. Yes.
Cameron lowered their heads solemnly, pressing one hand to their collar as they sighed. You smiled, knowing they were thinking about all those fallen paper towels at the store.
Unless you guys bought something extra, we shouldn't be over budget. But anyway, if you can get everything to the backyard, we can finish setting up the tables.
We're on it.
Actually, Deja, I need you to help oversee the other members first.
No, what? They're going to ask me what to do.
That is part of our job, you know. We're their elected leadership.
That doesn't mean they can't fend for themselves.
I know, but I have to go move all the scavenger hunt items. Just in case. Then I'll come to relieve you, I promise.
Good on you, Raina.
Fine.
I guess I'll handle the groceries then?
Yes, please. Deja can point you to where everything needs to go.
Can do.
Cameron jabbed a button on their key and they headed to the SUV's rear with Deja. You were about to follow, but Raina put out a hand to stop you.
I've got a different kind of task for you.
Okay.
You're gonna help a friend of mine finish making these damn cupcakes.
Oh my goodness, you do not want my help. I am terrible at decorating. I mean, sure thing, boss.
Ah, so obedient. I love it. So here's the deal. These cupcakes were supposed to be finished an hour ago. The guy you're helping knows what he's doing. You might know him for it, actually. Unless you live under a rock. It's fine if you don't. It's not important. What matters is he's only one person, and I may have hit him with a really tall order. So, just...
She made a grand but uncertain gesture, waving one arm vaguely toward the house.
Help where you can, alright? And I mean wherever you can. The clock's ticking.
Well, that's not foreboding at all. Is there something I should be watching out for specifically?
Trouble. In any and all shapes.
Why am I getting the feeling you're throwing me to the wolves here? Raina sighed, her head tipping to one side as she folded her arms.
Sorry, it's just that my friend's sort of finicky. I do believe you'll be alright, but just in case, I've got a couple of notes. 1, he's going to insist he can take care of the cupcakes himself. Don't listen to him. We need to expedite the process. 2, he's a little on the skittish side. Like a bunny, so don't do anything to spook him if you can.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, then...
With a jingle, she pulled a spare house key from her pocket, handing it over with a peppy nod.
I leave him in your capable hands. Once you're done, come find me in the backyard. I'll be around somewhere. Thanks a bunch, Molly.
And like the spring breeze, Raina left in a flurry of pink. You stepped through the front door, half expecting to find yourself in a life-size version of a pink plastic dollhouse. Surprisingly, the living room was just that, an average living room found in any house in the Northeast. Bummer. Maybe you shouldn't have expected much, considering the exterior wasn't doused in baby pink. Back to the job. A sweet, warm aroma led you across the living room and through an archway on the other side into the kitchen. There was someone stooped behind the kitchen island with blonde hair and a green sweater. They bent even farther, leaning down to swap trays of batter in and out of the open oven. That'd have to be Raina's friend. You doled out a few rhythmic knocks on the wall as you entered, trying not to startle him. Knock, knock. The door to the oven snapped shut, and with a fresh batch of cupcakes held in one mitted hand, he turned to you, lips parted in slight surprise. There was a moment of hesitation visible on his face before it thawed into a genial smile.
Hello. Can I help you?
Oh, hello. It's nice to meet you. It was only a couple of words, but you noticed a lilt in his voice. The vowels softly rose and fell, lending him a melody that threaded even the simplest of sentences. A foreign exchange student, maybe? There were plenty of those at Wryn Mayor. Hi, that's what I'm supposed to ask you, actually.
Pardon?
Raina sent me over. She said I'm supposed to help you with whatever you need. He nodded once before placing the tray on the stovetop and shaking off the oven mitt.
I see. I've got it covered, but thank you.
She said you'd say that. Yep, she said you'd say that. I'm supposed to insist on helping you. And so, this is me, insisting. What can I do? He raised a brow as he thought, but after a moment he nodded a second time.
Well, I put the last batch in already, so all that's left is decorating.
Oh goody, I'm great at that. Okay. There was barely any space on the counter when you joined him, thanks to the wire racks crowded with rows and rows of cupcakes. A number of them were already frosted, but there were plenty that hadn't yet been decorated. I'm starting to see why Wryn told me to come help.
Waiting for the cupcakes to cool was the most time-consuming part. We'll be done in time.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, my goodness, waiting for them to cool first. He gestured to a row of piping bags filled with a rainbow of different colored frostings.
Do you know how to use these?
I do. Yeah. When I was college age, I didn't, but I do know how to use them now. No worries, I know what to do.
Then, please, be my guest.
Prepare to be impressed. Okay, but don't laugh if it's not up to snuff.
Well, if you talk such a big game, I must admit I have my expectations.
Aw, man. Maybe lower them, for my sake. He brushed the back of his curled fingers over his mouth, doing little to hide the chuckle that escaped him. What did I say about laughing?
Apologies. I didn't know you meant starting now.
I didn't think we'd hit it off as well as we have to start with, but I'll take it. You glanced at the cupcakes that were already finished. Some of the designs were singular flowers made of layered petals. Others were entire bouquets of tiny clustered blooms piped with a confident flair that made for a spectacular show of craftsmanship. Since flowers seemed to be the theme, you quickly pulled aside 3 colors of frosting, and with practiced movements you started piping. Along the way you switched from white to cream, then to a peachy blush. With a flourish, you lifted the nozzle one last time, revealing a rose that faded from one color to the next. Ooh!
I don't know why you were concerned. You did an excellent job.
I impressed even myself.
You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
Returning to a rack of half-decorated pieces, he picked up a piping bag and settled in. Wherever his attention turned, leaves and petals unfurled in flicks of effortless color. Bit by bit, he cultivated a garden out of frosting. Vanilla and sugar wafted through the air, making the scene even more convincing. You're really good at this. He handed over a cupcake with a rosette on it, and he tended to it quickly, creating a cluster of wavy-edged leaves.
I'd hope so. I've been doing this for a long time.
How long we talking?
10 years? Maybe 11?
I hope you're getting paid for this, at least.
Are you?
No, but I'm not the one who's been baking cupcakes for a few hours, so...
I see. Well, today I'm simply honoring a favor.
That's a very big favor to call in. He cracked a wry smile and you grinned right back, before realizing that you'd skipped a crucial step. Before I forget again, I'm Molly. She, her pronouns.
You can call me Jamie. He, him.
Something tickled the back of your mind when you heard that. Jamie.
Yes?
Oh, no, it's just... I can't quite put my finger on it, but your name reminded me of... something.
It's an average name.
Yeah, the fact you say that, though, makes me think you're not an average person, though. No, there's something. Like... Then your stomach decided to rumble, and your train of thought screeched to a halt. There was no way Jamie hadn't heard it, but he kept piping with his eyes demurely lowered and his mouth shut. You clamped your own mouth shut and reached for another piping bag. Of course, your stomach grumbled again, even louder this time. I suppose I'm hungrier than I realized.
What makes you think that?
He reached over to hand you yet another unfrosted cupcake.
Have one.
Aw, no frosting. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
After that, all you had to do was peel the wrapper away and take a bite. Yeah. As someone who can get low blood sugar pretty quickly, I don't mess around when I'm really hungry like that. I'm like, I will take that cupcake. The cupcake was light but decadent, sitting on your tongue with a distinctly floral flavor. It was sweet, of course, but not cloying. Something that Jamie seemed to already know as he blinked expectantly at you. It tastes like a flower.
That was the plan, yes. Any other notes?
You shook your head slowly, concentrating on your next bite. That was a glowing review in and of itself, and Jamie smiled to himself as he turned back to his work. Suddenly, there was a rattling sound, and you leaned to look through the archway into the dining area. Two silhouettes stood at the back door, rattling the handle to no avail.
Damn it, it's locked.
I told you, Raina said no one's allowed in until the party starts.
Dude, I have to piss so bad. You don't have a spare key?
No, but if we go find her now, she might walk you in.
Ugh.
You glanced at Jamie, but he hadn't moved an inch. Should we do something about that?
No.
There wasn't a shred of hesitation in Jamie's voice. While you looked between him and the door, the silhouette shrank away from the curtain as the unfortunate volunteers gave up and left. Why not?
I don't want people in here.
Interesting. He warmed up to us very quickly, considering. Raina's words from earlier resurfaced. Skittish, like a bunny. He didn't strike you as the timid type after talking, but now you were starting to wonder if there was something else going on. Still, there were few things that felt as bad as being unable to find a bathroom on time. What would that volunteer do? Beg Raina to let them in? Drive all the way back to campus? I don't know. She's like, handle problems. But she gave us the spare key. And I feel like Jamie has gotta be a professional baker. So he's probably like, I don't want people to make a fuss over me. And that's why she's like, okay, I'll give you the key because only you can get in and it won't be so overwhelming for him, is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna keep it locked. Sorry, volunteers. Fair enough. With a light shrug, you moved to pick up another cupcake. Jamie did the same, though he was finished piping an entire flower by the time you got one layer of petals down. He was moving at a clipped pace, his eyes fixed on his work as he let the silence between you stretch on. Something was obviously bothering him, but beyond that hunch, you couldn't quite pick out the details just yet. Not while you were still decorating cupcakes, at least. And it wasn't like you could just turn and stare at him for hints. You changed the topic a little instead. Better that than to keep working in complete silence. So, I think almost all the other volunteers here are student government. I'm guessing you're not, since you only said you were doing Raina a favor?
That's correct.
I'm not either. Deja, the vice president? I'm her roommate, so we came together. Us and... There was that rattling again. From the front door this time, and it was followed by the familiar scrape, then clunk of the lock turning. The party's not starting, is it? Wiping your hands, you walked briskly into the living room, intent on investigating, only to hop aside as the door swung open much faster than expected.
Excuse me!
Without further ado, a student dashed right past you, disappearing down the hall. A second student leaned through the door to shout after them, still holding a spare keyring.
Raina says we get 5 minutes, so hurry! Whoa!
They flinched, realizing they were standing next to you, and you put your hands up in an automatically placating gesture. Hi.
Hi? Wait, how'd you get in here?
So did Raina give you a spare key? You changed the subject on a near hairpin turn, looking in the direction where the other student had gone.
Uh-huh. Well, as long as I'm waiting for my friend, I'm gonna sit.
The front door clicked shut behind them, and while you quietly reached out to relock it, they moved across the living room, only to glance into the kitchen and pause, perking up with evident glee.
Yo! Cupcakes! Did you do all this?
No, I just started helping with the decorations.
Yeah? Who made them then?
I mean... I wouldn't want to take... Can I save? Yes. Okay. Because I'm like, if I don't mention Jamie, am I pretending like I made them? Or am I just leaving him out of it so he can chill, you know? If they hadn't spotted Jamie yet, it meant he'd left the counter where the cupcakes were. You couch your answer in a little lie of omission, walking closer. Yeah, okay. I'm fine with that. That's fine. Someone who owed Reyna a favor.
That's why we're all here, am I right?
They chuckled conspiratorially, and before you could get around them, they stepped into the kitchen.
How long have you... Whoa, wait, Jamie?
There was a half-decorated cupcake left on the kitchen island, as well as a piping bag. Jamie was standing in the dining area, far enough away that it was clear he'd tried to stay out of sight. I tried to help you, Jamie.
Hello.
I didn't know you were here. Oh, but this makes sense. Geez, this is a ton of cupcakes.
Mm-hmm. And why are you here?
Oh, we had to use the restroom. Not we, my friend.
Right on cue, footsteps came back from elsewhere in the house. Jamie stepped back toward the counter, his shoulders sloped downward, and the volunteer next to you raised their voice.
Hey, in here! You're not gonna believe this!
What? Why are... Oh! Oh! Hi, Jamie!
The first student peeked into the kitchen, then scampered in with a wide smile. Their eyes were instantly glued to Jamie, to the point that they almost pushed by you on their way in. If these two had their way, they'd be behind the kitchen island in a second, cooing over the finished cupcakes. But 2 steps in, Jamie put a hand up, his expression polite but distant.
Please stay on that side of the kitchen. I'm still working on these. You've been in here making cupcakes the whole time?
Man, if we told people it was Jamie in the kitchen, our guest list would have exploded.
This music, though. As they spoke, the second student reached out, and Jamie smoothly plucked the half-decorated cupcake off the island counter before they could touch it. Yeah, guys, a little rude. He picked up the piping bag with his other hand, finishing the rosette on top instead of replying. It didn't help much. If anything, it gave the volunteer something else to talk about.
I swear these things look almost too good to eat. Almost.
But really, you could have asked Reyna for help. This is so much to handle all by yourself. It wasn't difficult. A little time-consuming.
Jamie's sentences were oddly short and quiet, but the low volume of his words seemed to encourage the two to crowd a little closer.
Come on, you make it look easy, that's all.
I know I couldn't do this much detail. The last time I had to decorate cupcakes, I just spread the frosting with a knife. Ha!
Their giggle twirled and pitched into a higher octave just as the oven timer went off. Jamie reached to turn it off, picking up an oven mitt and opening the door.
Are you sure you're not in the food sciences program? I mean, I know if there was a pastry degree or something, you'd be in it.
More like teaching it. Jamie Porter on the faculty? The school would be swimming in tuition fees.
And they laughed, bumping each other's shoulders with easy, raucous humor. You shuffled to one side to keep from getting jostled when what they'd said replayed in your mind. Jamie Porter. What was it Reyna had said? You'd know him unless you lived under a rock. You knew what the campus rumors said, of course. Somehow you'd gone almost two full years without seeing the man yourself, but you'd heard things here and there about a certain transfer student whose smile charmed anyone in a single glance. I mean, it worked on me. His good looks, effortless grades, and princely manners made him a shoo-in for the position of campus boyfriend. Campus boyfriend? People loved to talk about him no matter what program or year they were in. And you'd been decorating cupcakes with him, completely unaware until the final clue fell into place.
But seriously, what do I have to do to get a cupcake early?
So we were very lucky to get a cupcake early. Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake onto an empty rack. Automatically, he picked up a cooled one, piping half a rose as he spoke.
They're not finished.
Well, not all of them. What about that one?
They leaned forward, lifting a hand to either point at the cupcake in Jamie's hand or reach for it outright. Jamie stepped back, and they pulled their hand away, sucking in a breath that turned into a sly chuckle.
Yo, just kidding! I see how hard you're working on that one. Got any rejects lying around?
I'd be pretty surprised if there were.
Yeah, good point. Like Jamie Porter ever messes anything up.
The atmosphere in the kitchen had chilled since the volunteers had come in, but neither of them seemed to notice. Yeah, they're the most oblivious people ever. Glancing at Jamie, you noticed he was studiously avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room, you included. Whoa. Hi. Your choices in keyframes can impact your main stats, which are divided into 4 categories. Here are some examples of how they manifest. Confidence, guts, impulse, bravery. Charisma, wit, charm, creativity. Compassion, patience, consideration. Composure, poise, restraint, balance. You can always check your current stats by clicking on the information button located on the quick menu. Stat checks. Some interactions may involve hidden stat checks, and success or failure will impact the story you're playing through. Ooh, fun. Example, passing a charm check could let you pull off a flirty joke, but failing could cause a fumble instead. That is so much fun. But don't worry, Keyframes isn't a pure stat-raising game, and our checks are mostly for flavor. Try not to stress. I'm stressed! So what am I? Watto. Oh, hold on. I don't have any charisma. Yep, that checks out. I've got some confidence, some compassion, and looks like the most I have is composure, which makes sense because I'm a winter. Relax. Stop doodling over Molly's notes. Cameron was here. Relax. This page is blank anyway. Deja equals best roommate ever. Cool. We've given you the option to play through Keyframes events as reluctantly as you wish. Sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone to enjoy what life has to offer. What are the odds is a game you, Deja, and Cam play in the name of trying new things? Oh, this is a minigame. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone so I don't get too confused. It would be nice if it told you, like, which one is, like, charisma based and which one is, like, poise based and stuff. That would be kind of cool. I guess I'll have to... So I could tattle on the volunteers. There's a tactful way to address this. Enough was enough. That's probably, like, the bold one. Were they really that tone deaf? You let them know they were making Jamie uncomfortable. I mean, honestly, I would try to be tactful about it because goodness knows they're not being tactful. It just drives me crazy. Ah, failed compassion check. Interesting.
Man, I'd love to stay indoors until the party started. The weather's not bad, but you know.
They shrugged, casting a conspiratorial glance at you and the other volunteer.
Can't beat air conditioning and a whole bunch of cupcakes, huh?
Oh, it's not that bad out there, is it? Your quiet drawl drew the volunteers' attention to you, and as they turned, you folded your arms and leaned back against the wall.
Excuse me?
I'm just saying, Reyna said everyone else was working in the backyard. I'm guessing that excludes you two now. That got them bristling. The student who'd needed the restroom scoffed lightly, their eyes flicking up and down your frame.
Oh, and what are you doing in here?
Volunteering. The difference is I'm in here because Reyna asked me, not because I'm stalling on my assignment. Oh, damn! I don't mind failing this compassion check.
Hey, we have permission to be in here too. Who's gonna know if we take a little break?
Reyna will. Likely she already does.
You'd never been looked at with polite disapproval, but that was exactly what Jamie's eyes conveyed when his eyes skimmed across the 3 of you. No, we were in so good with Jamie. We hecked up. The effect was instant. The volunteers balked, I think, any thoughts of further argument wilting.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, we'll catch you later. No problem.
With that, they skulked for the door, one of them sneaking a sour glance your way as they went. In the wake of their departure, Jamie let out a slow, calm breath.
I suppose that was inevitable.
You breathed out a little more sharply than you wanted to, returning to the counter and picking up a piping bag. Maybe I was a little aggressive.
I didn't really mind that much.
Oh, that's good. He shrugged, sliding a fresh rack of cupcakes between you as you settled in.
In any case, I do appreciate you trying to help.
You're welcome. He reached over, dotting 3 simple leaves onto the edge of your cupcake in a second gesture of thanks. I really failed though, man, so I'm glad you and me are still cool. Jamie stepped away for a moment, checking whether the final batch of cupcakes was still warm. You stayed to the side, finding a steady rhythm and piping some flowers in quick, careful succession. You glanced at him once or twice as you worked, noting the way he angled his face away from you. Now that he knew you knew who he was, there was a wariness in his posture that hadn't been there before. He was Jamie Porter, after all, and you'd practically thrown yourself under the bus to get the other volunteers out of the house. If there was a time for you to go all starry-eyed on him, it'd be now. He didn't want others finding him in the house for that very simple reason, and thinking back, Reyna's hesitation when she'd sent you here made complete sense.
How many are left on your side?
He asked you a throwaway question, and you glanced away to count the cupcakes within reach. Even if you were trying to keep your cool, the musical lilt of his voice was hard to ignore. Fewer than 10 left. Not too bad.
It does go surprisingly quickly, provided there are no distractions.
When he looked at you, he had a small smile on. The same polite, peach crescent that he'd greeted you with when you first met him. It didn't look like there were any hard feelings about everything that had happened, at least on the surface. Maybe he did wait for you to finish more cupcakes on your side before he reached over to start adding any details, but he did add them. For all intents and purposes, you had your workflow back. The number of undecorated cupcakes dwindled steadily, and you even tried your hand at a few leaves and vines once you felt up to it. Eventually, Jamie tapped his finger on the counter, breaking your focus.
Okay. The last batch needs another 10 to 15 minutes to cool, so you can finish up, then go back to Reyna.
You sure? I can stick around.
It's fine. You can tell Reyna I'll be finished in time.
You couldn't really hold it against him if he wanted some time to himself. It was as good a time as any to get back to the others. Then I'll go let her know. Thanks for helping me help you.
Of course.
Aw. Well, that was very sweet. But I think I'm gonna have to end it there for today, guys. This is a lot of fun. My goodness. I love these characters so much. They're adorable. The writing is fantastic. The art is great. I'm loving this so far. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw of Keyframes. Obviously, there's a lot more to see in just the demo, so I encourage you to go check it out for yourself. It's available on itch.io, and I'll have the link in the description for you. And as I mentioned earlier, this game is currently in Kickstarter, so I will also have a link to the Kickstarter down below in the description as well for you guys to check out. Go give these guys some support because they've got something fantastic here, methinks. And I had a great time with it. Big thanks to Kara again for bringing this to my attention. This was so much fun and I would love to play more of it someday. Alright guys, until next time, I will see you later.